So welcome to the second review on this channel, and I could finally talk about Donda, which was released just this past Sunday at 8 a.m. Whether if it was approval from Kanye or not, we are able to talk about Donda. And this has been a very crucial moment in 2021 for hip-hop. And honestly, a big moment for hip-hop for the past couple of years, because we've been going through the pandemic era, we've been going through the presidential run that Kanye had, and all of these mental episodes that we've experienced all in front of a camera, so we've been able to see everything, and also the divorce from Kim. There's been a lot going on, but it's so good to always come back to the music. And with Jesus is King, that album was blanketed by all this controversy, so it was really brought down with that. This is different. We are able to see the passion, the variety, the spirit, the soul that we wanted from Jesus King. And not to mention, it's on a big body of work, 27 tracks, and this album is able to allow you to just sit down and just get immersed in the tone, the experience, the incredible moments that this album has. It just goes to show Kanye's brilliance and Kanye's ability to bring these different emotions, whether it's through bangers, whether it's through these introspective tracks, whether it's through experimental tracks, or on this album, even through piano ballads. And we're able to get more insight into Kanye's mindset, especially through this time. This is the moment where I feel the most connected with Kanye. Even with Ye, where he was getting personal. I feel with this one, we are able to finally see what Kanye feels spiritually. And that's what I want on Jesus King the most. And what I love about this album is, again, the massive amount of variety on this. We get these rock ballads with Jail, with Jay-Z, and it's really cool to see with this is that we can look back on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and how lush the production is, how full it is, how many instruments, how many things are going on, and it just sounds so complete. But as we go on into Kanye's discography, there seems to be more things stripped back. But with this album, it still shows that all these things being stripped back, it's still allowing these performances, the production to shine. And less is more with this album, because with Jail, all you have is a guitar, and you have processing on the vocals with echo, but it just makes the track sound so full and so anthemic. We have those tracks. We have Moon as an example as well, where you get this kind of more soft rock kind of instrumental. And you have Don Toliver singing this amazing refrain that's so catchy and it's so beautiful. And you have Cuddy coming in as well. And it's just, everything comes together so nicely on these quieter moments. We also get the variety in the banger department. We have God Breathe. We have Off the Grid. We have Praise God. We have Heaven and Hell. There are so many moments on this thing where you can just go ridiculously stupid. You can go nuts. And this amazing contrast with this eerie and mysterious production mixed with these choral vocals, these organs, put them together, and it's just this really odd combination that just works. And Jesus is King was the light side of this. We saw a very more uplifting version of this. But with Donda, we get this really dark contrast. And when I really think of that, I think it's to show the mysteriousness, the eeriness sometimes of being a faithful person, of religion. It can be dark, it can be mysterious, especially thinking of God, and is God really real, and this mysterious aura to the Holy Spirit and all this kind of stuff. So having this darker production really brings out these different kinds of emotions of not rejoicing, but also of questioning and also of contemplation. And we get those moments of contemplation where you get these moments like Donda, which is more of an interlude, and I wish we had the Pusha T verse, and I wish we had the Kanye verse, but you do have Jesus is Lord. And Jesus is Lord tells this story, it tells this amazing story And I'm going to say it, Jesus is Lord is probably Kanye's best song since Runaway for me personally. I know it's a really big thing to say at the moment, and that's totally cool if you don't agree, but there's so much emotion. There's a great story in this where this woman can't afford the abortion and has to live raising the child in a very unfortunate circumstance. And with the track and the chorus saying, name someone that needs Jesus. And it's basically, it's like what, because I come from a church, when you do these moments in a service, usually after a worship set, where the pastor goes up and says, do you want to pray for any unsaved loved ones? Can you raise your hand if you're praying for unsaved loved ones? Or you have a prayer request for someone that's going through a struggle. That's what this song is for this album. It's basically saying it's just that there are so many people going through these different circumstances of pain and remorse and grief. And basically saying it's like everyone needs Jesus and everyone has this opportunity to run to him. And you can go back to Jail as another example of talking about faith, where amongst all of what Kanye's said and all of Kanye's done, Kanye, I think, knows that all of this earthly stuff doesn't matter. All the things that are said about him doesn't matter because God is always there to accept forgiveness and to post bail for him, like it says on the course. He's able to go to God in prayer, ask for forgiveness, and know that God has his back. And you get these incredible ambient moments, which is probably my favorite part of this whole album. You get Moon, and you get 24. 24 with the organ going off, and you get the mix of the orchestra, and you get the mix of these choral vocals with Kanye. It's a really cool contrast too, where it's just one person mixed in with this massive group of people in a choir just mixing together. And this saying God's not finished, the devil's a lie and now he's finished, I know you're alive and God is not finished. Like, these are moments that create such a beautiful atmosphere that is just unmatched. We haven't seen stuff like this in hip-hop. Honestly, gospel is really brought to the forefront on this. Like, even though there's not as much gospel tracks on this album, the gospel is brought to the forefront even more on this album than Jesus is King was. And then you get, of course, No Child Left Behind with just a synth, really, or this kind of synth organ just going through, and you have Vori on the vocals, and you have Kanye singing He's Done Miracles on Me, and it creates these moments of just clarity. It creates these moments of salvation, of redemption. It creates these beautiful moments that are just indescribable. I just really can't describe it. My favorite track, though, is Come to Life, because it's not even a hip-hop track, and there's a lot of non-hip-hop tracks on this album. But with Come to Life, it really is like a warm hug amongst, like, in the world where it's, like, super cold and a lot of things are happening. And these pianos and just Kanye singing this higher register, and we know Kanye is not the greatest singer, but Kanye is hitting every single note. And all this put together in this track, it almost makes me cry. Like, it brings a spirit. It brings this passion, this emotion that is unmatched on any album that I've listened to this year and probably won't be able to experience for a long time. And I'm so glad that this era exists. And I know Kanye's went through a ton of things, but I'm so glad that this moment, this album, has allowed him to express himself in a more fleshed out way with his faith. And honestly, this is my album of the year, even though it does have some mistakes and some misses. I'm still not a huge fan of Control. Control has been mixed around probably the most on this album. It has gone through the most revisions, the most changes. We've had Young Thug there and Cuddy. Cuddy has been taken out. Young Thug has been vocoder as well now. And we still have the Glob Go Gab Galab, which I talked about on my Donda 3 stream. But it's been shortened. But I feel that song, each and every time that it has been revised, has gotten a little bit worse. Except Donda V2 was pretty perfect to me. And I do appreciate on Remote Control the more kind of natural singing that's brought on from Kanye. But it just, there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of things going all over the place. Young Thug's vocoder vocals don't really work that well. It's kind of an odd placement. And of course, the last part, even though it was shortened, it takes me out every time. Thankfully, you get to Moon, which brings you back into that vibe. And then, of course, we do have the part 2s, which are cool to have, especially since we've had so many listening parties. If we didn't have all these listening parties, I don't think these would be on here. But these part 2s, besides Jesus Lord part 2, because I do love the Locks performance, a lot of them just seem unnecessary, and I really just consider them bonus tracks. I probably won't be returning to these as much as the original track list. We have incredible performances from Roddy Ricch. We have incredible performances from Lil Baby. We have amazing performances from Baby Keem. And Jay Electronica probably brings the best verse on the album. Just the album as a whole brings variety, it brings soul, it brings this nice collection, and it's not cohesive, but it brings these moments all over the place across these 27 tracks, where the album may not have this cohesive sound and it sounds all over the place, but these moments keep you coming back. Each track has an amazing moment. Each track has a moment that is a huge high point. And when those high points get up there, it reaches these levels that I cannot describe. And it really brings the spirit just to this whole new level. And I am so happy that we finally got it. Because if this album was scrapped, I would be so disappointed. I don't give scores on my album reviews, but I am going to highly recommend this album, of course, to anyone. I know my dad is going to love this album. And I'm just so happy that I can finally have the album and listen to it as much as I want without having these files and all this kind of stuff. And I could finally have it with me throughout the year and see how it works out, because I've been listening to this for the past few days. I haven't been be able to listen to anything else. But I'm so happy to have it. I'm so happy that I get to experience these amazing moments of just pure bliss, of pure beauty, of pure gorgeousness. I also get to experience these moments of pure adrenaline, just bangers, just incredible production, incredible choices of features, and we do get the emotional moments from Kanye on here. So, highly recommend this album. Really glad that it came out. What did you guys think of it? Leave a comment, subscribe if you would like, and let's all just enjoy and talk about Donda together, through the good and through the bad. I want to hear everyone's thoughts on it, because I am ecstatic about this album, and I couldn't be happier that I woke up on Sunday morning going to church, and this came onto my library. So, really amazing album. I can't say anything else about it, but it's fantastic. So thank you all for watching, and peace out.